The Buffalo No-Huddle brought to you by Genesee Community College and Ficarella's Pizzeria. Get your game time fix.
Now that's more like it. And I loved it. Did you love it?
Want some more of it?
I want more of it too. It is the Buffalo No-Huddle with the Batavia Daily News and the Livingston County News. I am Jimi Jamm from CJ Country. I host a morning show from 6 to 10. Along with me, executive producer of this show, Marc Tillery. And wow, it was so much fun on Sunday with the Bills taking on Washington. You know, there's a zillion reasons people gave why Josh Allen had been struggling the first couple weeks of the season. And, you know, one of the ones they said was, well, the stadium's full this time. Maybe he can't play in front of a stadium full of people, when he already was showing growth the year before. It was so much fun to see him operate in a full stadium and just see it in person, see that offense do what it does. I mean, just nickel and dime Washington to death, and then some big chunk plays, and it was just a great day, a real special day at the park. What'd you think of the game?
It's very, very good. Before we go into the game, it's very, very easy to speculate and become one of those speculators where you're just like, can he play in front of a big crowd? Can he play in front of a big crowd? He could put 4 TDs in the air in front of a big crowd and one more on the ground.
Right.
He shut my mouth after the first week. Better luck next time? No, I'm better luck next time going against Josh. Josh killed it this week. The defense killed it this week. My only thing is it was continued momentum going in after the Miami game. Destroyed Miami. Now, the breakdown of 14 straight points, we'll talk about that in a little while. But for the most part, it was a solid game, and the Josh Express is here. And it's full steam ahead from here on out.
It was a great game to watch, and now they've got Houston up ahead. And in the NFL, you don't sleep on any opponent. We'll get into Houston in a little bit. And we're coming up on the quarter pole of the NFL season. So I wanted to ask you right now, off the top of your head, who are the top 3 teams in the league? If you had to take your guess.
After this weekend, I gotta say Los Angeles is a dangerous team.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I didn't realize we knew Matt Stafford had talent. We knew the guy had heart. But what he's done for this team is amazing.
And Cooper Kupp is fun.
Cooper Kupp is definitely that player, man.
Right.
So LA is definitely my team that I don't want to meet.
Who's number 2?
It's definitely not New England.
Well,
we used to throw New England in there. New England's one of those top teams. But
who else you like out there? I mean, I got a couple things.
I honestly like Green Bay. I think Aaron Rodgers is one of he's that quarterback that pulls out of nowhere, as we saw this past Sunday.
Okay.
No team is safe.
All right.
And I'm telling you, I'm not just saying that because they're our team. The Bills. I think the Bills
number 3.
Bills are number 3 because you're always scared of those NFC teams. Let's be honest. They come in strong, and we got to prove ourselves for sure.
Here's what I got. I got the Rams at the top right now. They are looking great. The Bucs at number 2. LA handled their business against them and took them down a peg. Right now, until they get knocked off, I got to give the edge to the Raiders at 3 and maybe us at 4 right now. But, we'll see how things shake out going forward. And I wanted to ask our sports writer here at the Batavia Daily News, Alex Brasky. Alex, what are your top 3 teams in the NFL right now? And where do the Bills sit?
All right, taking a quick look at my top 3 teams in the AFC, beginning with the number 1 team, the Buffalo Bills. The Bills turned themselves into Super Bowl contenders a year ago. And after scuffling a bit in week 1, they've returned to that form over the last 2 weeks. Last season, it was Josh Allen and the Bills' passing offense leading the Bills to the promised land, but this year, it's been the Bills' defense that has been most impressive. The Bills' defense was one of the top units in the NFL in 2019, and it seems they've returned to that form this year. Number 2 team in the AFC, although they've started the season 1-2, I believe, is the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes will be there at the end of the season. The Chiefs have had a tough start to the season. The Chargers, the Ravens, and the Browns on the Chiefs' early season schedule. I think as the season goes along and they get some wins under their belt, the Chiefs are going to transform themselves back into that Super Bowl contender that we've seen the past several years. Also, number 3, the Las Vegas Raiders, the top offensive team yardage-wise in the NFL through 3 weeks. Derek Carr has it going, and John Gruden is as happy as a clam as the Raiders are off to an unbeaten start following their overtime victory over the Dolphins in Week 3. So those are my top 3 teams in the AFC. Although there's plenty of time left for those teams to shuffle, that's where I see it at this point of the season.
Choose a school where the arts come alive. where science and technology thrive. To create something extraordinary. No matter which path you choose, GCC gives you the tools to start your next journey. Because when you choose GCC, your time is now.
All right, thanks, Alex. And yeah, it makes you wonder about that first game against Pittsburgh, what happened, because they have not looked great after that first game. It makes you wonder what happened to Buffalo after the first game.
You know what? I think everybody goes into that season. I mean, remember, I can't remember the score that year. Remember Sam Adams ran that fumble
the
back.
31-0 game, 2002. I will never forget it.
That was huge. And the year that Fred Jackson had that big game and we came back against New England.
2011.
New England went and won the Super Bowl that year. So instead of crushing the team the first week like I did, I'm one of those naysayers. I'll completely admit it. I was mad because I expected the first game to be amazing, but
overreact. Come on.
Look, I take my crow with Anchor Bar sauce.
Let's move on to our player awards, and we'll start off with MVP. And Mark, what's your choice for MVP? Although I think I know the answer to this question.
All right, we have talked about not being diplomatic and having our own opinions on the show, but you, me, the rest of the world. Josh Allen.
We're going to agree sometimes, too. That's fine. I mean,
hands down, Josh Allen, he played his best game arguably against what was projected to be a big, bad defense.
Yeah.
And a handful of first-round studs on that team. The Josh Allen Express has finally showed up this season, and full steam ahead from here on out. Expect them going into the Texans game this weekend to do the same thing. I don't think there's any stopping this team right now, and if we hit a wall, this team better be ready to face the Buffalo Bills.
Josh was my vote as well. I will say you've got to give props to Emmanuel Sanders. With the 2 touchdown catches and good touchdown catches. He caught one in traffic where he got popped at the end of the throw there, too, to help Josh, get out of the fire a little bit because the rush was on. They were trying. On that play, I think there was an attempted screen, and they couldn't go to it, and then they changed direction and went a different direction. Actually, no, I take that back. That was a different play, but Sanders caught one across the middle and got popped big time. He just took all the hits. He's showing the veteran leadership. He's being a calming presence, actually, for Josh out there, too, a little bit. And so Sanders, I got to give a honorable mention.
Well, here's my thing, and I talked about this before the season. He arrived, and I talked to you about this. I was worried about this. Do you think he's taking catches away from Diggs? Do you think he's? I thought it was going to be a decoy for Diggs, but Diggs is not putting the numbers up that I want to see him put up.
Well,
and that just kind of.
Well, here's the thing. Diggs, as the most, he caught the most balls last year for the most yardage. He's going to get keyed on a little bit more. And there isn't not enough balls to go around on that offense, which is a good problem to have. And some weeks he won't be, there and be that dominant guy to catch a ton of balls. You know what I mean? Early on, I think, in the season, I think part of why Josh struggled, maybe he was looking for Diggs a little bit there, and he wasn't there, and he wasn't open. Also, too, I don't know that we know the full extent of that knee injury he had. You remember when Diggs didn't practice a lot?
No, you're right.
I don't know. Not a doctor, not a trainer. I'm just saying they rested him and took their time with him so he'd be ready to play. But who knows if that knee is still bothering him. But I say it's more about the coverage right now. And that's great because that opens up opportunities all over the field. And Sanders is stepping up.
And at the end of the day, Diggs said he did want to bring a Super Bowl to these fans.
That's all he cares about.
It's a team thing. I mean, from Beasley to Gabriel, everybody else out there, one heck of a game. We didn't even talk about Knox, but what a game by Knox.
Knox is coming along nicely.
Yes, he is.
Dawson, you're coming along great. The Better Luck Next Time Award. Now, what was your vote on this? Now, I think I might disagree with you a little bit. I know which way you're going on this, and I will state my case, but go ahead.
Look, there's not a lot of problems I saw with the Bills. I mean, there's obvious problems I'm sure you're going to talk about. But as far as Better Luck Next Time Award, I'm giving this one to Chase Young of Washington. Projected to give that O-line fits and give Josh Allen nightmares this past Sunday.
All right.
He was quiet out there, not causing too much of a threat, and that's a testament to the Bills' O-line. The Bills definitely put it up out there.
See, this is interesting to me because earlier in the week you were ready to say it was the defense, and I was ready to defend the defense and what happened.
I get it, but the O-line protected QB1, and no offense to Chase Young, but he was about as scary out there as a box of kittens this week.
Now, because I was all ready to build the defense because you were ready. Earlier in the week, Marc was saying defense let up 21 points. I'm like one of those plays, they gave up a short field based on a busted play and special teams and whatever, and a garbage time touchdown. I think the Bills' defense is in great shape. So I'm glad you didn't pick the defense.
Let's put it this way. The Bills shattered the myth that Washington had to lead D this past Sunday.
Yeah. My Better Luck Next Time, Devin Singletary. Because Devin had a great rushing average going the first 2 weeks, but it's obvious with the Bills' offense, they go with a hot hand, and Zach Moss has had that hot hand. He's been running well. Yeah. Even when he had only 26 yards 2 weeks ago, scored 2 touchdowns there and was a force and separated that dude's shoulder, in the other game. So they're going with a hot hand. So Singletary, who's been running great when he's got the ball, wasn't part of the offense, really. I mean,
No,
he kind of
right.
disappeared the last game.
But
here.
with Zach Moss as a rival, Zach Moss has definitely been that versatile elite back. He's doing his
as
thing
long
right
as it's
now.
one of them, I'm fine.
And it goes back to us with Diggs and Sanders. As long as that team brings home a championship, everybody wins.
The Bro Seriously Award. All right, sometimes this could be something happening in the game, could be something happening at the game, whatever the case may be. Bro Seriously, Mark, what's your vote?
Look, man, I don't want to put the rain cloud on these people because it really wasn't that bad of a performance, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy coming back maybe with the rebuttal on this one. But as I stated earlier, you cannot go 21 points ahead of any team, make blunders like that, and let them back in. It hurts the confidence, and it just builds the confidence.
So overall,
of the
you're
team.
saying?
Overall, I want to say for that moment, not the whole entire game, Bro Seriously for those moments, Bills D and special teams with what happened for those 14 points that just literally happened on us because you were sleeping back there. You were relaxing. We're up 21. We got this. Understand, in the history of the NFL, no matter what team we're against, it's us. Someone's going to find a way to come back on us. So just don't lay back. Don't go and prevent anything.
I don't know. Look, here's the thing. I don't know that that's the case. I'm going to give my Bro Seriously to special teams on that kickoff. But here's the thing. The winds were pretty weird in that game. That ball stopped straight in the air.
You were there.
And McKenzie misread it. Maybe he zoned out for a second, thought he was on punt coverage. I don't know. But see, here's the thing. And this, as long as I've known you, here's the thing. I don't know that it's always, they let up, they let the foot off the gas. I don't think it's that at all. I think this team is single-minded, especially after Pittsburgh waxed them week 1. I think they're single-mindedly, they're in search of a championship. And things happen, breakdowns happen during a game, and it's still early in the season where these little things are going to happen here or there. And I'm sorry, when you give a team a short field, points are going to happen sometimes, especially on a turnover. It's just going to happen. You know what I mean? Because let's face it, Washington couldn't do anything when they started their own end of the field.
Right.
We gave them a 50-yard head start with that kickoff for sure.
And plus, when you look back at it, the Bills' gamble doesn't pay off on 4th and 1 with 3:09 left in the first quarter.
Right.
You can't play around like that. And like you said, Brian DeBole's trying to be cute out there, but leave cute for the kittens and the babies. You know, just enough with that. The term you said that week was pretty funny, but DeBole's got to stop this stuff because they can sniff it out very easily.
Let's go on to our next game. They're taking on the 1-2 Houston Texans. Now, here's the weird part. Think about this. How weird have things been for the Houston franchise? They have actually won 4 of the past 5 against Buffalo. Leading into this, and obviously we're talking a whole different situation now. Deshaun Watson, where are you? You know, the starting quarterback, David Mills.
And a broken tie rod.
And Tyrod's out of commission, and it's different days for the Texans right now. And David Culley, who used to be on the Bills coaching staff, is their head coach. So you got that lineage going there. It's wow. I don't even know where you begin because I have to say they were supposed to be even worse than expected at the start of the season, but Jacksonville laid an egg against them. So much for the Urban Meyer era. Houston did come out. They're not laying down for anybody, but I think roster-wise, they're just at a disadvantage with this team. Right. They lost J.J. Watt. They don't have Deshaun Watson. They've got guys like they've got Mark Ingram. They've got Brandon Cooks.
Right.
They've got Whitney Merciless, who I would have loved the Bills to draft years ago, and he's on their defensive line. He can make things happen defensively, but
on paper and on the books, they got a great-looking team. It's just there's no true leader out there right now. Your quarterback's the leader of the team. He's going to go out there. I mean, you got a bunch of good players, a bunch of good names, but if anything shows you in the history of the NFL, names aren't going to get you everywhere. You got to get there. You got to play. You got to have that leadership. And like you said, having a former Bills coach on there might, make it teeter a little bit, but we're certainly not going to see Texans out there being dominant at all. And you'll see by my score prediction coming up in a little bit.
Defensively, the Bills are 11 points better. Offensively, they're 8 points better. This has all the markings. Of course, this is why they play the game. Sometimes you play down to the level of your opponent. But right now, the way I think the Bills feel like they have something to prove, and now the engines are going, I think this could be a pound down of epic proportions. The spread was at 17 or to start the week. I don't know where the current line is right now.
It looks like 17, but 3 blowouts in a row would be amazing.
I'll take wins. At this point, you know what I mean? In the NFL, nothing is given to you. Winning's hard in the league, and I will take whatever the Bills can stack on, because right now, we mentioned our top 3 in the NFL right now.
Yes.
Guess who wasn't in that conversation? Kansas City at 1-2. That doesn't mean it.
That's a shocker right now.
That doesn't mean it can't change, because look at New England years ago, started off 0-2.
You're right.
You remember we're on to Cincinnati. Remember that Belichick talk and all that stuff, and then they turned it around and got themselves going. Right now is a time for the Bills to not let up, because the schedule gets tougher after this week.
I had the honor of running into Chris Berman at the Kelly Invitational over there at Terry Hills.
Name dropper over
there. Not name dropping. There was a bunch of news people there, asking about, what about the Bills? What about the Bills? And he goes, I'll let you know in October. So October is when everything's gonna change for every team out there. Those that started off with road bumps, let's see how they do. And those like the Bills, let's keep on rolling and do what we can to do what they can to continue the streak that they're on, because no one's stopping the Bills right now.
2 undefeated teams in the AFC right now. You got Las Vegas at 3-0, and like I said, I got them in my top 3 right now. Denver's 3-0, but they haven't played anybody yet. So we'll see. As you say, we're going to move forward and figure this all out. Why don't we go first of all to find out what his prediction is for the game on Sunday? We'll go to Alex Brasky for the Batavia Daily News. Alex, what's your pick?
The Bills will play host once again in Week 4 as they welcome the Houston Texans to Highmark Stadium on Sunday at 1 p.m. The Texans come into this game at 1-2, losers of 2 straight, as they've had to turn to backup quarterback Davis Mills in his rookie season, as starter Tyrod Taylor, a former Buffalo Bill, went down with a hamstring injury, and Mills has been thrust into action and has struggled in the early going. Mills held to under 200 yards passing against the Carolina Panthers last week, and don't expect much more from the rookie this week against a vaunted Bills defense, which has been on fire in the early going. Defensively for the Texans, they've had some struggles in the secondary, largely due to injury, but up front, that Texans defensive line can cause some problems for the Bills, especially with with the struggles that the Bills have seen on the offensive line at times this season. The Texans recorded 3 sacks last week against Sam Darnold and the Carolina Panthers, and although the Bills' offensive line has seemed to get things together in recent weeks, that's something to watch for this coming week. Back to the offensive side of the ball, number 1 wide receiver Brandon Cooks, one of the top wideouts in the NFL. Watch for his matchup with Tre'Davious White this week. White did a nice job against Washington football team number 1 wide receiver Terry McLaurin last week, limiting him to 4 catches for only 62 yards, as White was somewhat shadowing McLaurin throughout that game. On the offensive side of the ball for the Bills, Josh Allen is really clicking in recent weeks. A good game against the Dolphins in that 35-0 shutout victory, but a fantastic effort this past week against the Washington football team. So look for Allen to keep things going against that Texans secondary, which, like I said, has encountered some problems this year, but hopefully that Bills offensive line can keep him clean as they did last week. The Bills running game has seen up and down performance early in the season, as Zach Moss had another good game last week, and Devin Singletary kind of disappeared from action. But I would think as the Bills gain a lead in this game, we'll see the Bills running game reintroduced and have another good game this week. Defensively, like I said, the Bills defense has just been on fire. I think this could be a week with Mills, a pocket quarterback, for that Bills defensive front to get after Mills and maybe come up with a couple of more sacks like we saw in that game against the Dolphins. Quick prediction for this week's game. We saw a blowout last week, and I think we'll see another blowout this week. Give me the Bills to win this game by a 35-10 score. Buffalo, just too much for the Texans in this one.
Nick Ficarella, the Pizza Making University.
All right, now it's up to us and our picks for the game this week. 1 o'clock start, Houston Texans, Buffalo Bills. Marc Tillery, what's your pick?
All right, the Bills are 17-point favorites going into this game. Okay. Josh and that D are on fire like nobody's business right now. The Texans are coming off a 10-day hiatus, iffy at QB. And for Houston to have any chance at Week 4, you better call on Warren Moon and Earl Campbell at this point, because the Bills got your number. I'm calling 42-13.
Wow.
I'm going big numbers.
All right.
Why not? We're not in Vegas, but I'm going big numbers.
All right. I'm saying a 10-day advantage. There is some advantage to it. It's not like the Texans don't have some talent here or there, and maybe you get a little time to game plan and be a little smarter. But right now, it just doesn't feel like that's the case. This doesn't feel like a trap game. Doesn't feel like a watch it game. I know it's real tempting to look past the schedule and look at Kansas City and Tennessee coming up, but I think the Bills are on a mission right now. I'm going to say 31-10 Buffalo to win this game.
Putting those big numbers there.
31. You put a big one. I think.
like
Wait a
that.
minute. Don't make me do math. Wait a minute. 40. You said 42 what?
Hey, it's why we work in media.
42 what?
42-13.
42-13. All right.
They're a 17-point favorite, but they're putting way more up than that. Let's
I still
be honest.
can't add it up. This is pointless. This is a pointless exercise. I'm going to go back to talking over Luke Bryan records for a living. All right. That for the Buffalo No Huddle, I'm Jimi Jamm from CJ Country. He's Marc Tillery, the executive producer of this show. Everything you see is his fault, basically. Is what I'm
It is. No rain clouds on your favorite players. Let us know what you think.
Yes, please. In the comments, let us know what you think. We want to hear back from you. And and if we get good ones, we'll read them on the air, okay? And that's it for this week. We'll talk to you after the Houston game. And for both of us, see ya.
The Buffalo No-Huddle brought to you by Genesee Community College and Ficarella's Pizzeria. Get your game time fix.